the citizen's right to bear arms on public property.
Somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
Said you overthrow a government if you've been a people who've been abused one generation over and over and over again. That for them was an affirmation of the revolutionary potential of those documents.
But I must say tonight that I know that justice is indivisible. Injustice anywhere.
It's happening right now. Everywhere is uprising.
There's a worldwide revolution going on.
Is a threat to justice everywhere.
Think about that.
You're all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. And whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. For some strange reason, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. The rich man can never be what he ought to be until the poor man is what he ought to be. John Donne caught it years ago and placed it in graphic terms. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. And then he goes on toward the end to say, any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind. Therefore never sin to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee.
Was looked on as somebody to hold at arm's length because his funk was dangerous.
I pray that God will bless you in everything that you do.
You told him I don't have nothing but a prayer. Well, chump, all I need is a prayer, because if that prayer reaches the right man, mountains will fall.
I pray that you will grow intellectually so that you can understand the problems of the world and where you fit into in that world picture.
I make my decisions on the basis of my moral commitment.
So when you stop and think about, you know, where it's going and where you fit in it, and the games they play.
When I was in about 6th or 7th grade, I couldn't wait till school to be over, because I knew over on the courts, the waiters from the hotel would be over there. They were black, older, and they let me play. You know, I always looked at that as I got an opportunity to play against a black man, and they treated me good. I couldn't wait to play against the best, and they were the best.
Of learning to live together, regardless of origins, in mutual respect for the rights and the well-being of all people.
What happens with this world as a whole is really a natural, almost a natural event. Events are happening, and it's not a matter of whether someone makes a decision in office to release information. This is all happening very naturally.
Yeah.
You know, it's not any decisions.
We don't need the government to release the information.
No,
that's
you don't need the government to release the information.
I am very agree with you. I'm very agree.
No,
we don't have to ask for the government to do it.
And don't expect the government to have any information to release to you,
Yeah.
because the governments, like I was talking about, the governments don't have this information to release. So this information is already in the public domain. It's just coming. It's like the flowers growing out of the soil. You know, it's blooming everywhere.
We have internet, just put in action the people.
And also, you know, great inventions and things in the past have been discovered simultaneously in different places on the planet. How is this possible? It's because it's happening in a different dimension, from a different dimension. And this is how this information is released. It's not released through government.
Peace and blessings to all the brothers and sisters and to all the beings and extraterrestrial and anything else that's on our planet so-called Earth.
Living under this colonial imperialistic situation for a long time. See? where irrespective of what's going on now and what government in power, government have to know that you have a whole lot of evil forces to fight who don't like to see nothing progressive, so learn that. And the devil is a dangerous guy. Saying
we have to face the fact that modern man suffers from a kind of poverty of the spirit, approaching spiritual death, which stands in glaring contrast to his scientific and technological abundance. We've learned to fly the air like birds. We've learned to swim the seas like fish. And yet we haven't learned to walk the earth as brothers and sisters.
So we can have flying saucers in a short period of time.
Yeah,
using it.
You can have that.
It's amazing.
The thing is that we need to balance this, all this technology that is available or can become public.
I know it surprises a lot of people. That's all right. We're going to just keep surprising them.
Can you imagine that after all these humiliations and aggravations, I've been condemned to hell, and here am I still standing in the name of Jah?
We believe in the quest for truth and justice.
We need to first work on the spiritual and the sociological problem.
Indeed, now face the same problems of a swiftly changing world. The same question of how to bring our abundance and our technological progress to the fulfillment of all men and the liberation of all mankind.
The Japhet and get the wisdom of technology. See? I mean, no one can stop the development. The development is not the problem. It's the flesh, the man himself in his own flesh. It's in his own problem.
Well, I'm quite hopeful about the future pattern of race relations. I realize that there will be difficulties, and the reactionaries will make it more difficult in order to get to this goal. But I think there are other things at work which will defeat all barriers.
held down by some spiritual vampires, and the only thing could make me move is say, move your bumbo clock and I'm free.
Bombaras. So can you imagine where I was at? I had was to have faith both in myself and the Almighty, and ask Him to cool the tempest so that I may be able to ride safely and accomplish my mission.
I admit that there were points and there were times that I moved around actually afraid within.
Oh yes, I prayed a prayer, and I prayed out loud that night. I said, Lord, I'm down here trying to do what's right. I think I'm right. I think the cause that we represent is right. But Lord, I must confess that I'm weak now, I'm faltering, I'm losing my courage. It seemed at that moment that I could hear an inner voice saying to me, Martin Luther, stand up for righteousness. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. And lo, I will be with you even until the end of the world. I tell you, I've seen the lightning flash. I've heard the thunder roll. I've felt sin breakers dashing, trying to conquer my soul. But I heard the voice of Jesus saying, still to fight on. He promised never to leave me, never to leave me alone. No, never alone. No, never alone. He promised never to leave me, never to leave me alone.
Talking about fear. Fear was only one of the ways of trying to many other ways and plots.
Living every day under the threat of death, I feel discouraged sometimes. Yes, sometimes I feel discouraged and feel my works in vain. But then the Holy Spirit revives my soul again. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. God bless you.